What's up, everybody? What is happening? Okay, it's been a pretty eventful day. We had the protest on my last video I spoke about in Gerristen Beach, Brooklyn, at the public library. There was a drag queen story hour, and we felt it was it wasn't very appropriate to teach kids between the ages of 0 to 5 years old about gender fluidity and stuff like that, because this whole gender issue is just at this point in the game, it's a made-up concept. It really is about changing your gender back and forth and being, identifying yourself with whatever you want to identify as. And if that's what you want to do, go ahead and identify as whatever you want to identify, but don't force us and the rest of society to identify you based on what you want to be perceived as, right? Just perceive yourself any way you want. Just don't force me to have to respect your identity because you just want to be labeled as such, right? Usually, whatever, that's just between them and their community. That's what they want to do. Fine, no problem. But, you're bringing it into a public library that's funded by taxpayers, and you are targeting children with their own language, with their own admission on websites and on flyers and stuff like that. And they're talking about gender fluidity and teaching kids it's okay to be different, and teach them how great and fabulous it is to be transgender and stuff like that. I don't think it's appropriate. Now, I raise this issue all the time, and I say there's probably 3 reasons why a person would be transgender, right? Either they have gender dysphoria, which, again, it is in the DSM-5. I went over this in my last video, right? The APA, the American Psychiatric Association, has it in the DSM-5, gender dysphoria. It is a mental disorder, and I know the World Health Organization removed it, and the APA is being bullied to remove it as well. The second reason is because it's fashionable, and maybe this is a trenders sort of, or it's political. Now, I was on the streets for the protest. My friend Tag, he did the protest. We actually got a couple write-ups. Mainly him. I'm just like a filler, a filler for a paragraph, really. That's all I got. But I was mentioned in the Brooklyn Eagle, which is a newspaper, a local paper here in Brooklyn. And I was also mentioned in the Gothamist, which is another local newspaper I don't know if they're just in Brooklyn or the city of New York. And then the news media was on hand taking pictures and asking questions and stuff like that. So Tag really organized. He did most of everything, to be honest with you, and he set everything up, and he was there with his bullhorn going nuts today. Shout out to Tag. He did an amazing job. He really did. Letting them know what he felt about it, that he thought that this was all nonsense and it shouldn't be. So, I've questioned people on the street. I have to say, to be fair, that the people on the other side were very nice people. Everybody was very nice. There was only 1 or 2 people that didn't want to speak to me. Everyone else spoke to me, and they were very polite. And I actually had a fun time with them. We went off to the side. We spoke. I told them beforehand, I'm going to ask you very, very, very tough questions, as tough questions I could possibly ask you, to try to get you in an I got you moment. That's what I'm trying to do. If your philosophy holds up, then you have nothing to worry about. And I did the same on the other side. At least I tried to on the other side. But most people on the other side, there was a Christian group that showed up, and they made up majority of the numbers of the people on the other side. And they were unable to move outside of religion when it came to this topic. And I'm just not into the religious thing. It doesn't do anything for me. I didn't want to have the conversation too much. I tried to. I spoke to a couple of the people, and they were arguing from the Bible and from scriptures. And I just couldn't get into. I didn't want to turn it into that. I wanted to stick to the subject at hand. But to them, the root of their argument stems. It goes to the Bible. So if I didn't touch on that, then that's the only way I was able to make their argument fall apart, was by attacking the Bible, attacking the credentials of the Bible. And that's not what I was there for, and I really didn't want to get into it. And to be honest with you, I am pretty over the argument with religion and arguing with people who are religious. And at this point, I just want to move on, and I don't want to argue religion, religion versus, science or something like that, evolution or whatever, creation versus evolution anymore. I've done that for many, many, many years, and I can't really do it anymore. So we had a good time. I spoke to a lot of people. I filmed some of it. I had the videos. They have to be cleaned up. It was very, very hard getting to talk. Well, not getting to talk to people. It was easy, but while I was talking to the people, it was a little rough because there was a lot of noise. There's people yelling. The Tag was going crazy with the bullhorn. it was just some people had music playing and the yelling and screaming, and it wasn't very easy to talk to people. So I'm gonna have to edit the videos. I'm gonna have to try to clean them up. I was a little disappointed because there was a couple of the videos where the audio was sound so bad. It was so terrible. I don't know what happened. There was a few people I spoke to where the voice recorder, what I was using to record the audio, turned off on me while I was talking to them. And then when I checked, I realized that I wasn't recording anything that we were talking, and none of it was being recorded. So on that aspect, it really didn't turn out to be so well. It's probably because I'm an amateur and I don't know what I'm doing, so I really need to improve in that department and get better. But let me move on to another update of the night. I guess the height of the moment. Not really much of a height. I think I'm exaggerating. The city comptroller, the controller here in New York City, Scott Stringer, decided to send out a tweet on the way home. I got a text from Tag, and he says, "Hey, this guy over here is, this is what he tweeted." And there was a woman who was there taking pictures. I didn't know if she was an independent journalist. I didn't know if she was a photographer. I didn't know if she was working with anyone. I didn't know if this was like a solo project of hers. She didn't communicate with anyone there. She was just standing there taking pictures. It was hard to gauge what side she might have been on because she had the hijab on. Obviously, she was a Muslim woman. And she was just taking pictures. She didn't bother anyone. She didn't say anything to anyone. She was very quiet, took a bunch of pictures. And then I noticed she was the one who uploaded. Well, I guess she uploaded pictures to Twitter. I'm not sure. But Scott Stringer used her. I guess he tweeted out her pictures or something. I'm not really too familiar how Twitter works, but I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce the woman's name, by the way, because if you watch my show, you know that I'm so terrible at names that if your name is not like Bob or Lisa or some shit like that, I'm gonna botch your name up. That's just how it is with me when it comes to names. I just cannot do names. It's just a terrible thing I have. My brain does not work when it comes to names. Okay, so this is my Twitter account. I don't really use Twitter very much. It's just not for me. This is Scott Stringer. He's the comptroller or whatever that's. I really don't know exactly what that. I think if I'm not mistaken, the local politics. I'm not very sure how that works, but that might have something to do with budgeting for the city of New York. I'm not 100% sure. Don't hold me to that. But this is Scott Stringer. He is an elected official, and this is what this idiot tweets. He tweets, "Homophobia has no place in the city that includes Gerristen Beach, especially as we celebrate World Pride. Drag Queen Story Hour is a wonderful event that teaches compassion and understanding to our children. There's nothing that is more valuable." I can't even get into what an idiot this man is at this point in the game. This had zero to do with homophobia. This was all about teaching gender fluidity and the whole trans movement on our children. It had nothing to do with homophobia. Nobody mentioned anything about gay, lesbian, and stuff like that. It makes for him to make a comment like that tells you something. One, he doesn't do much thinking. Two, he's not in touch with pretty much anything. He's not known for being a thinker. There's no real philosophy coming from him. He's just one of those types of people that when you disagree with them, they call you a racist. And you look at them and say, but we did not have a discussion on race. Like all the times I'm called a Nazi when I'm arguing with someone online, and then I say, why are you calling me a Nazi when we're having an argument about the economy? Why are you calling me a Nazi? Not to mention the fact that I'm Jewish with biracial kids, and I've said that 5 times already, and yet you're still calling me a Nazi. And this is exactly what Scott Stringer is doing. The homophobia, which means that we are homophobic, which we're not. I don't know. Maybe I'll show you the. I took screenshots. I would have to. I didn't want to gloat or brag about getting a mention in a local newspaper. But if I show you the local newspaper, I was quoted properly by both of the newspapers, by the reporters. It said that I am pro-gay marriage. It's not that I'm pro-gay marriage. It's that I don't think that the government should have the right to step in and tell 2 consenting adults if they should, if they're allowed to marry each other. I want the government out of people's business. And if that means that 2 men are allowed to marry each other, then I'd rather the 2 men marry each other than the government overreaching and telling us how we're supposed to live our lives and what we're supposed to do. I don't want the government to have power. I want a small government where the people are stronger than the government. That's what I want. So if that means I would have to be pro gay marriage to prevent the government from having an overreach, then I'm pro gay marriage. So I told them that in the newspaper. I said that I am pro gay marriage. I have no problems with people who are gay. If that's your lifestyle, then it's fine with me. If you're not bothering me, why should I care what you do behind closed doors? It's just not my business. I don't care if you're not forcing it on me, if you're not forcing it on my children, if you're not trying to force it on society, then I just don't care what you do behind closed doors. But as we all know, that community is trying to force it to some degree onto the rest of the world. So now let me get into my tweets. I read this, and if you see this name right here that I will not pronounce that was shared on Twitter through Scott Stinger's office, I'm guessing it's his office. I don't know if that's him, but you know what's funny when you look at it? It's like this dude has like no real likes or anything, or no one really retweeting it. And he's the controller for New York City, and he has no traffic on his page. Just to tell you, he has the same amount of traffic on his Twitter account that I get on mine, and I get almost none. I get like zero. I'm a complete nobody on Twitter. And yet I still can like match him, comment for comment and like for like and to retweet for retweet. That's how much of a nobody this guy is. So let's get into my tweet, my response, because I did respond to him. Hopefully my computer will show you and not do exactly what it's doing and not getting in there. Let me see. Okay, this was the woman taking pictures. You'll see, I am here somewhere. They didn't really get a good shot of me. This is Tag with the bullhorn, yelling and screaming, going nuts. Tag did a very, very, very good job, and he really backed down the entire crowd. He didn't let up on them. This was inside what was going on. I'm just going to keep scrolling down. There's me right here in the, I guess like the light blue shirt. Next to me is my friend Oleg. And it's funny because she sees the shirt that Oleg has. I don't know if you see my cursor, but if you do, then I'm circling myself. If not, I'm on the right-hand side. You'll see me. I'm standing there. Oleg's up against the wall. He has a shirt that says Second Amendment and proud of it. This woman decided to write in one of the tweets, the man had a Second Amendment shirt and proud of it. This is the drag queen that came down to teach children about about gender fluidity. This is the individual responsible for educating our children on such a serious issue. This is who they had coming down to explain to the children that she's, I wonder if this drag queen said, I'm really a guy under this, because then they broke their own rules because I thought they're supposed to be girls. I don't understand. But I know drag queens don't do that. I know they recognize that they are guys who do drag and they dress up as women. But somehow the two things, there I am again, the two things have intercepted, and now it's like one and the same because they both support each other. So one of them doesn't identify as a man and the other one does, or identifies as a woman only. I don't know. It's too confusing to even call. What I would really like to show you is the tweets, the little twitting war. Well, it's not even a Twitter war at all. I mean, no one responded to me, but I would like to show you my tweets to Scott Stringer, if I can make that happen somehow. I don't know why it's not really opening up. Let's give it a minute, maybe. Okay, here it is. So this was his tweet, and then me and Tag both jumped on. So Tag wrote, "Follow me for more." I wrote, "Followed, brother." And then he tweeted to Scott Stringer, "I'm the guy with the megaphone. Direct your love or hate at me." Then he wrote, "Fighting to protect the innocent of children 0 to 5 of age is not homophobia. It's called protecting child innocent. You are just another delusional politician. Homophobia is not even a real gender identity disorder." Then he tweeted this thing of the library. This is what the library put up. So this is their own words. Okay, what do drag queens and children have in common? I mean, you could just read this yourself, and it's ridiculous. What do they have in common? Dressing up in things and sparkly and fancy. Drag queen story hour captures the imagination and play of the gender fluidity in children in childhood and gives kids. I mean, it's look at it, glamorous, positive, and unabashedly queer role models. I mean, it's insane. This is what they want to teach children. Then he went on a few more tweets. So what I tweeted out was, of course, nobody retweeted me or gave me a like or anything because I'm a virtual nobody on Twitter. But I still have, more action than Scott Stringer, and he's, some bigwig in the city. Okay, I wrote, "I thought you stood for democracy, majority rule. The people in Gerristen do not want this in their library or school. I might help with electing your opponent in your next election. Then I also wrote, this protest was not about homophobia. You would have known that if you took the time to show your face. This is about preventing gender fluidity from being taught to 0 to 5 years old by a dude in a dress. The next tweet I sent out was to Tag. I said, you and I are the only tweets in the comment section, and he is the city controller, and we organized the protest. Laughing my ass off. We are gonna have to organize so he does not get reelected. And then, of course, I had to finish off with a liberalism find a cure, which I did get one person to like it. So I'm actually like one up on this Scott Stringer dude, just to show you what a baffling idiot this dude is. But we're actually very serious about maybe stepping in. I got to call Tag up, and we're going to talk about maybe seeing when the next election is up for Scott Stringer, and see if maybe we're going to cause a little issue or something if we possibly can, to see what's the next venture we're going to get into as far as, you know, activism or just pretty much trolling is really what we're doing at this time. But I mean, something has to be done. Why not? They're constantly doing this to us. They will rally against us. They will do marches against us. They will boycott us. They will picket us. They would harass us online. Recently, Steven Crowder has an issue with this Carlos Masso guy, or whatever the hell his name is, from Vox, because he can't take a joke. So he's all upset because he doesn't like the banter going at him from Steven Crowder, so he caused an issue. Steven Crowder, after it was all cleared up with YouTube, they decided to demonetize him because he's the next one on the chopping block. I believe Jesse Lee Peterson was also demonetized. And well, you can go on and on with the conservatives and right-leaning individuals that are being demonetized and being cut off. Laura Loomer was cut from almost all social media platforms. Paul Joseph Watson. We all know about Alex Jones and InfoWars. And it goes on and on. They're just targeting everyone who will speak up against the left. Anyone who's against them in any way, shape, or form will get demonetized, and they'll eventually get booted off of those platforms. I'm safe right now because I have such a small channel that no one's really coming after me. No one really gives a shit about me right now, to be honest with you, because I'm a complete nobody. But once I get my sub list up to a certain amount, I become dangerous because I have people actually following me, and then I have to go. That's how this works. I mean, hopefully I get to that point. At least I accomplish something in life other than just, working and, doing nonsense. I mean, I'm going to school to get a degree just to pretty much hang it on my wall and say, look, I accomplished something. That's about it. So pretty exciting day. I'm going to try to edit those videos. I'm going to try to make do the best I can to fix the sound quality. I'm probably going to edit the videos, just cut it down in length, keep it short. It's just a quick exchange of question and answer, and not show the whole video, because some of the videos are 8 minutes long, 12 minutes long. So I'll just, short little clips, try to make a little collage of them to put up there possibly. I don't know. It's going to take me a long time to do that. So I don't think anyone's going to, by the time I get that done and put it up, people are going to be like, what the hell is this? The 7 people that actually watch his channel every day is going to be like, what the hell is this? When did he do this? All right. So that's all I got. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the bell, and I'll see you guys on the next video.